Bad Brad Berkwitt Show is all about moving humanity forward and fighting for democracy. And remember, folks, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Hey, folks, the man with the pinky ring and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And welcome to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Forget about it. My guest today is a return guest. She's been on for a 360 conversation. She was on one of my most popular Moving Humanity Forward panels in 2022. She is an actress. She is a writer. She's an activist, and she's a dear friend of mine. Please welcome back to my show, the one and only Heather Thomas. Forget about it. All right. Well, my dear friend on the West Coast, where we may be moving, if it even exists anymore. Welcome back to the show, Heather.
Hi.
All right, look, I'm gonna throw out some talking points, and as you always do in private and in public, because I've been around you in both settings, don't pull no punches.
Okay.
Let's start out with this. Actually, I want to start out with your opinion about some, not all, Democrats that are pulling this crap on President Biden. And I don't mean the sources. I don't mean this because I don't do sources. I'm talking about actually came out of their mouth on video or in an interview saying he should step down.
I swear to God, it's coming from donors. I have been to umpteen events, right? And there's always this line of people bogarting the candidate, bogarting Barack Obama, bogarting Bill Clinton, bogarting Joe Biden, saying, this is what you should do. I know donors that thought they were so smart, that they were all shit ideas, number one. They were terrible ideas. These people have had no experience whatsoever running a campaign. A few of them have had great experience separating people from their dollar. That's true. But it does not mean you know how to reach voters, you know how to do a campaign. And I've seen them sit there and tell the candidate exactly how they know they should win. And I know that the donors said not another dime to any candidates across the board. I'm sure it's this league of we're all at the mercy of billionaires at this point. I'm not sure how else to say this. Yes, the polling is bad. However, the polling is dismal. You could change that in 1 second with 3 words. Expand the court.
Okay.
That's all you gotta do. You gotta say it. Now he's saying he's open to it. However, I also think what I saw at the debate and what I saw at the event that George Clooney is talking about, I saw a guy who was tired. And also after a certain age, you cannot take a Sudafed. You can't take a Benadryl. It really affects people. I'm not on the inside. Maybe there's something they know that I don't. And the polling is consistently bad, really bad. And they said a candidate with this will not make it. But every time it's 2,000 people, and I keep saying out of 350 million, why don't they have any 100,000 samples? Because nobody can afford it.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah,
but here's the thing too. I talk to We the People.
The universe is not Twitter.
Right, exactly. But I talked to We the People, and We the People voted in the Democratic primary for Joe Biden. We the People are not screaming, whether it's women, African Americans, or whomever, that we want Joe Biden replaced. And We the People are the ones that vote. And here's the thing. I understand money. I get all of that. But here's where we're at. We're in a situation that I don't have to tell you because you're very smart when it comes to this stuff. But we're in a situation now where you got a guy that is the worst of anybody ever, and he's not a Republican, whatever MAGA, whatever you want to call Trump. We're not running against Ronald Reagan, even if you didn't like Reagan, you didn't like Bush.
No, we're running against the fucking apocalypse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So realistically, people also
that are so. It's an international group of thugs who have melded power with people who are completely insatiable to the point of if money was food, they'd have an eating disorder, a serious one.
Right.
A serious one. And they would be gigantic overeaters. And then there's another group of people, there's big blasphemy. And all these people are so freaking greedy, they don't want to lose a dime. And they want to be able to keep grifting, keep stealing the way they always have been. That's always the eternal fight. There's old guys who are dinosaurs who want to keep making money the same way, even though it kills people. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We, the people, I haven't sampled millions of people. All the young people that sort of come into my sphere are not excited. That was another thing that scared me. In that I just keep thinking, if they gave them a lozenge, those vocal zones that all the singers use, clear his throat, right? And then if they just got some better writers and had better coaching, I am not in the campaign. I don't know the inside thing, right? My intuition keeps saying it's got to be Joe. Everybody I see on social media runs the gamut, but the kids are not excited. And at the same time, the women are saying, we're going to vote no matter what, because what's at stake?
Right.
The women have won this issue in every single state that it's on the ballot.
Right.
It went. And I don't know the polling averages. I just know I was horrified when someone who's very deep in the sort of strategist world, who worked on a certain campaign of a very well-loved president, said, it's going to be Gretchen Whitmer and Cory Booker. And I went, we are so fucked.
No, that ticket will never win.
I just went, no.
That ticket will never win.
And then he goes, well, Kamala won't get us the Midwest, the blue wall. And I went, really? Really? Because all the kids I talk to love her. Every kid I talk to loves her. I think the reaction to the debate was everybody, this poor man, he is the best president we've had in, what, 60 years?
Yeah, at least.
He brought us back from the brink.
Yeah.
And yeah, he glitches.
Yeah, but
I would vote for him if he was a head in a jar at this point.
But you know what, Heather? But he glitched, or he had a bad night. I conceded it right away. I knew it as soon as he started talking. But
he was very quiet, but not glitching.
No, but he got better. He got better in the debate, and all Trump did was fucking lie after lie, no detail. And look, I know, I follow this religiously. This is what I do. But here's the thing. I know President Biden and his camp agreed to all that. They didn't fact check, they didn't do all that. But here's my thing. When you're Dana Bash, okay, and you are a woman, and you know this motherfucker is straight up lying about a baby coming out, and 2 days later, they're killing it, which is absolute bullshit. As a motherfucking woman, you should have said, hold up. We don't have to fact check you. That's absolute insanity. And when she asked about child care credit, he said nothing. Now I know a couple of times she said you didn't answer the question. They should have said, look, we're not going on to the next question till you answer this one. He didn't talk about policies. He talked about insanity. And Joe was trying to get his rebuttal in and then get his facts in. And it was a bad performance, but it was
They
bullshit.
coached him really wrong.
Too much. Right.
One of two things happened. They coached him wrong, or he said, I got this. Either one is bad.
Okay, right. But here's the thing. It was a debate. All of a sudden, he's not the candidate. 3.5 years of everything that he's done for the country. Look,
this
I'm
is
a
not
straight shooter.
fantasy. We are fucked football.
Exactly.
It is not.
Exactly. And let me tell you something.
It's beginning to make me sick because if you, first of all, if anything happened, if it was Joe's choice, right, it has to be Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a betrayal.
Yes.
Joe stepping down feels like a betrayal. The kids, they just need to get, first of all, they need to say, expand the court. I just think if he said, I'll expand the court.
But can he expand the court? But Kenny, what goes into that? It's
we got to get the Senate and the House. As it stands right now.
You're saying a campaign promise of expanding the court, but he can't expand it for 4 months.
I will expand the court if you give me the Senate and House. I promise.
Okay, I got you. I agree.
Because we certainly have enough, what are they called? Federal districts or something. You know, we increased it to 9 when we had 9, you know, courts. What do we have now? 13?
I'm not sure.
13 on the court. Anyway, long story. I don't speak law, even though I'm married to lawyers and I give birth to lawyers and all that stuff. But I just keep saying we're gonna jump into the abyss with no plan.
Right, and that's my biggest problem.
Thunderdome convention, because we'll lose.
Yes.
There's already paid agitators that are in place.
Yes.
In Chicago to burn and torch things.
Of course.
Believe me,
they want to be like the 68
the folks
one.
and the SEALs and the Russians or whoever it is
Yep.
are going to be paying their bail. They're not, because I saw it happen in Santa Monica. I saw it happen on Melrose. It was all white dudes doing 99% of the stuff. Yeah, the kids all run in. I knew rich kids that were getting texts about where to loot. That's another story. But all they need is the appearance of burning cities. You know, they're going to do that, right?
Well, they've already done it.
We don't need the same thing inside the convention. And this is just like a slow rolling horror accident. And I keep saying, if there's something we don't know that you know, why didn't this happen 6 months ago?
I said the same thing. So to me, it's not the debate. Something else is bigger going. Okay, let's jump.
It's too late. How are they going to change the little buttons?
Right.
How are they going to change yard signs? The
Right.
stuff that everybody waves when they're a delegate.
Right.
This just
Plus the money aspect of it.
Yeah.
The war chest. If you say Whitmer and Booker, that money can't go to them.
No, that's right.
So let's get into this talking point, because I know how you feel from Twitter.
Oh, the money will, you know what, these donors, I don't know who they are. And maybe they, you know, I also know we're awful in the polls. And we got to look at that.
We are awful in the polls.
I am not a poll expert. I don't know how to dissect them, who owns them. All I'm saying is the kids I talk to are not excited about Joe. And I'm just being honest.
Right.
I think it's completely ridiculous. He had a bad night. He probably took a Benadryl and it jacked his brain. I'm married to an old guy, so I know old guys. Okay.
Damn, what are you doing? Skip under the bus like that?
He's pretty vibrant. But
he can keep up with you. Shit. I can't believe you threw him under the bus.
He does like $5 billion deals before breakfast, but He's just so paramount. He's got mad skills. Great.
Exactly.
But I know old dudes. You can't keep taking that over-the-counter medicine. If you have a runny nose, you cannot take a Sudafed. You turn into a wackadoo.
Right.
And I'm not kidding. You turn into like this. You're flipped out. That was my suspicion.
Right.
I could be completely wrong.
Okay. Let's do this.
I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
I am not going to profess that I am a strategist.
Right.
I have just seen the worst ideas I've ever heard for politics have all come from big donors. Let me just
say they know everything because of their money.
Preface everything
right.
with that. And the media frenzy of smelling blood in the water and wanting the ratings.
Yeah.
It's not sweeps month. What are you doing? I think there's so much disrespect. And I mean, we already have an entire political party that has contempt for us. We have a Supreme Court that has contempt for us. And now it's beginning to feel like the media has great contempt for us. And another thing, I said this 20 years ago. We need to buy more media. It's all being bought up. They decided in the 70s they were going to buy everything.
All Trump supporters. They're all Trump supporters.
Well, it's also all people who don't. I mean, they want to get rid of every regulation.
Yes.
Do you know how titillated they are at the idea of not having a consumer protection agency or not having an FDA
or a Department of Education?
Or a Department of Education, any of that pesky stuff. It's like grift-a-rama. Well, it's all about creating a permanent underclass. I've said this a million times, a permanent underclass of low-wage workers with no education, information, choice, or recourse. And they will come after collective bargaining, and then they'll come after class action lawsuits, and then it's over.
Yeah.
But I don't know political campaigns.
Okay. Let's talk
it's
about
just real hard to trust jumping into the void. And someone said, oh yeah, we'll just have a mini primary during the convention. So every single voter out there that busted their hump for the primaries is disregarded.
Exactly.
And it's just the delegates that vote and the super delegates.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
All of it sounds bad.
Yeah.
It all sounds bad.
It
sounds contemptuous. It sounds like they're saying, oh, the black people are practical. They'll go along with it.
Yeah. No, they won't. They won't. Let me ask you this.
It's kind of like Trilogy of Terror. There's like
with Karen Black.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And Trump is that dude in the oven.
Yeah. Project 2025. First thought off the top of your head, besides for its pure fucking evil.
Pure fucking greed. It's pure fucking greed by people that don't care if they kill you to make money. No regulations. And keep the women down so it's an overburdened underclass, and so you appease the big blasphemy and the weirdos within it that are fantasizing about end times. I don't know. All I know is I was on the board of the Rape Foundation for 30 years. I know a thing or two about sexual assault, especially on children. We created the international model for treatment for child assault victims. Any of these hyper-masculine religions that need to subjugate women end up in pedo town. It's always happens that way. It's always going to end up in pedo with an AR-15 in a bunker with a fraud charge and underage.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Give me more money, I'll send you to heaven. There are so many beautiful little churches in this country. And it just feels like blasphemy to me. I was raised Presbyterian.
It is. And religion is always the underlying. Look, he just picked J.D. Vance, or as I call him, just a Dick Vance. Look at all that stuff that he's talking about, the crazy, religious stuff, and it's basically what Christian nationalism.
Money and power, and all these guys, just say, I had my heart broken. They can't say that. They have to pick on the women, pick on all women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can you shut my door?
Come here, mate.
Oh, now I've got a chow dog with me. Hey, come here. They all have
dogs
that.
for Biden. Dogs for Biden. Our dog is for Biden.
Yeah. Dogs for Biden. I've got the bandana, and
There you
now
go.
she wants out. She ran to me, but now she wants out, and she's going to bark at the door. Can you wait a second? Just
Yes.
1 second. Hold on.
Yep.
Oh, now you don't want to go out. Where's Tim?
Now, that's too funny, folks. The camera zoomed in on the painting. I love it.
Anyway, look,
the camera.
I know nothing. I know nothing. I'm talking out of my booty when I talk about polls and stuff like that. I have no idea, Brad. I just know it's a betrayal of voters.
It is. And look, I don't pull no punches. If I saw something that I felt, you know what, President Biden, he's not going to even make it to the November 5th, I would be the first one to say it. That debate wasn't good, yes, but no way. No, I watched him in Detroit. I watched him stand up there for an hour and give them a fucking master class in foreign policy, which is why Obama picked Joe Biden to be his vice president, because they're completely different personalities, completely different parts of the country, and they're different everything.
But he also understands what people really want. They want dignity.
Yes.
They want the dignity of feeling equal.
Yes. Let's talk about this.
It's so even-handed. He sat there and is fixing everybody's bridges.
Yeah.
While the Republicans take credit for it.
And all right, and that's what they constantly do. From Tommy Tuberville to Mitch McConnell to Lauren Hobart, as I call her. Let's get into this, Heather.
I just think Americans are more interested in winning than living nowadays.
And it's disgusting. And I'm gonna tell you what, we're at the point. I get donors, I get races, I want to see money come out of politics because it's ridiculous how much money we waste. But that's probably never going to happen.
Oh, the Citizens United thing, that was the end.
Right. But here's the thing. Again, as a person that gave 20 years and 28 days to this country, this is bigger than Adam Schiff. This is bigger than these people in the Democratic Party that are telling him to step down.
Adam was a friend. I don't know what is going on. So, which keeps making me think, what do they know that I don't know? I said,
well, but you know what? Then they should come out and say it. They should come out and say it.
I don't like being this confused and frantic so close to an election.
Exactly.
I just want to get people on the voter rolls.
Right.
I want to dox mass challengers. They deserve it.
Right. Don't get purged. Let's talk about don't get purged.
Let's talk about it. I'm about to talk to, they're going to hate me. I'm about to talk to quite a few donors, big donors. In another life, I spent 10 minutes on the Democratic finance committee. But anyway, long story. Anyway, I'm about to fund more and have it, revamp it. I've been trying to figure out electronically how to notify people they've been mass voter challenged. It's pretty hard. What mass voter challenging is really to drain the budget of elections and throw things into confusion. Plus, it's cruel. It makes someone who might be working a job in a different state to have to come home and get a court date. How many judges, when you have one guy challenging 37,000 people, and they're all trained by Cleta Mitchell on how to wipe out someone's right to vote. I think it's the scummiest because of the color of their skin, because you think they're a Democrat or they got a funny last name according to you. And you look at all these people, they're skells. They're like, there's some of they're people that if you had them in your house, you'd hide your money and dope under the soap. I'm not kidding. These are horrible people that do these, but they're trained by Cleta Mitchell. It's like an army of orcs coming at us from all angles.
It's insane. I'm going to remind you of something. Just wrote a note as you were talking.
But they're lame and they're very beatable. If
Right.
we get our shit together.
God. I agree. I want to remind you of something. When we first met, very first time we did a show 2 years ago, when we did a
bad week to quit smoking.
Yeah, no shit. 360 conversation. You told me a couple of years back when we first met that you would be at the country club or whatever setting it was, and some Republican would come in and they'd say, "Oh, who are you saving this week, Heather? The whales, the this or that?" And you said they'd say something smart.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at a country club, but it would be
whatever setting, whatever setting,
river, or it'd be at some social gathering.
Right, but you were able to, but you were able to kid with them and you know, give it back to them and then have a conversation. You can't do that with a Republican.
We all liked each other because we didn't take it this seriously.
Right.
Now it's about, you know, thank you, Mike Flynn, about a psyops that titillates someone's dopamine so they search around on the internet for numbers. Yeah. That's what it's about now.
Yeah.
And they hate you and they think you robbed them and that we all planned to do something evil together and drink the baby blood.
Right.
Because we're people and we're hiding our eggs and then we're going to pull out the M. I have never seen more people fall prey to a ruse.
A cult. It's a cult.
I feel like our parents never would have fallen for that.
No.
Because they were too busy to sit on. You know what? It's like these people, they're so desperate to be part of a noble cause. And their ministers told them this is for God, and they really think they're reclaiming America. They buy every single thing that comes out of Fox News. They buy it because it's a winning team, like their local football team in their city, and they don't understand that they're not. It's like everybody's in their own little castle uterus right now, and they think that how they think is how the whole world thinks, and I've got to defend it against, you know, so I can shoot someone on my doorstep. This whole mentality, there is no encouragement of us.
Right.
And I think Joe Biden has tried, but you don't see that trickle down. We need to have big themes again and big tent. And we're all in the same boat. I miss my Republican friends. They made me laugh.
Right. Yeah, but again,
you need two parties or you don't have a democracy.
Right.
And we don't have two parties right now.
No. But Heather, going back, you're going back decades with these people. Bless you. You're going back decades with these people. Like you said, I never had a problem if you were Republican. You were pro-life. I'm pro-choice. We'll debate it out. But in the end, most of them still love the country. These people don't love the country. They want
the
these
ones
people
that were anti-choice didn't want to force me to believe how they believe.
Right.
That is the most adolescent, maybe it's pollution, Brad, but it is the most adolescent desire to have everybody think the way you do and behave according to what you believe about the universe. That is like a little child, like a 12-year-old, in puberty, wanting that. You must see the world the way I see it, and too bad. And then there's other people that are just, everybody in the world is a widget but them.
Say that again.
A widget.
Oh, widget. Yeah, yeah.
The billionaires are like using human beings like Kleenex. You use them, you get disgusted by them, and you discard them when they're no longer useful.
Yeah. Well, that's Donald Trump's playbook. That's why I don't understand all the loyalty they have to. You have loyalty to a man that wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. Those people that I go after that go to the rallies.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't let them come within. He wouldn't want them to touch his car.
No,
he wouldn't want to touch them.
Right. He was happy when COVID came and you have to shake hands.
But he was irreverent, which is another adolescent dream. Let's all be irreverent.
Could you imagine? Now, I didn't watch any of it. I just saw clips of it because I refuse to watch I call it the racist Nazi cult. That's the RNC convention in Milwaukee. So you had fucking idiots that put maxi pads or tampons or whatever the fuck it was on their ear.
That's why I put an index card on my chicken.
Right, yeah, but you know what? Put it in proper perspective. What's the difference with wearing fucking Schwartz stickers to align yourself with Hitler? You're just wearing maxi pads on your ears to the Fuhrer, which is Trump. That's insanity. It's insanity.
And the diapers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. We like our presidents to shit in diapers. I mean, it's just you've never. Reagan is turning over in his grave. Bush the father's turning over in his grave. But also,
it's a different world now.
Yes, it is.
We've had an audience that has grown up with reality TV.
And they got a reality president.
Groomed by reality TV and by news stations that have no responsibility to public welfare. We don't think it was a we anymore. I wouldn't wish harm on the worst of the worst MAGAs that would love to murder me for my lizard eggs or something. I do not want to injure them. And you know what the weird thing is, Brad? I promise you, if there was a flood or an earthquake, and they would come over and help me, and I would go over and help them. I refuse to believe people are bad. There are some people with disorders, personality issues, mental problems. I do blame a lot of it on plastics and pollution.
So let me ask you this. When you and Skip go fly fishing to your place, you see Trump signs out there?
When I go, I'm going to be going to Thermopolis, Wyoming, flying in there and fishing on the Wind River Reservation. Before you get to the reservation, there were signs for, there were signs. But no, Jackson Hole, we've had a family house there for 30 years, and it's a liberal area.
Okay.
For the most part. Never used to be, but it is now. I think a lot of it is low information, and a lot of it is deliberate denial because you're treating it like a sports team. And remember, these people, we create our culture by the stories we tell. And they have been fed these contests over and over again where you get together with somebody and then betray them the next minute to win. Where you lie, cheat, and steal to win. And we've made winning the only way you're going to survive. And we've elevated people with no talent, no gifts to the
Sure have.
Gifts to give back, that don't give back.
Yep.
And American Miss Die Hard, and the country's getting browner. Big deal.
So what?
I've lived in an 80% Latino town. You can tell me it's something else, but I think it is. And I've never had a problem. I don't understand it. People are people, and they're good people and bad people everywhere. And for people to want to generalize, which is a sign of stupidity in itself, about an entire group of people, I do miss Republicans. I'm going to say it right now, and I'll probably get a lot of beat back. I think we need the Republican Party so we don't get too airy-fairy. I think we need the Democratic Party so we don't let the Republicans kill us.
No, I've
That's
said
how I
on my
feel.
show. No, I've said on my show. I don't want the Democrats to get everything. I don't want the Republicans. We need two parties. I actually wish there was a viable third party so we could say to the Democrats after the shit that they're pulling, you know what? We're going to go to this party because you two can't get it together. But that's not going to
Well,
happen.
they've been strong-armed by donors. What are you going to do?
Right.
If you have no money, you can't hire a canvasser. That's
Right.
what I said this morning is, while these guys get it together, please volunteer, because the spigot has been turned off for these campaigns and we can win. But they were getting a constant flow of money. Now they're getting nothing. We need to raise money for them. We need to go door knock. We need to canvass. We need to man the phones. We need to work the polls too, because they're going to have, they've got something planned where they're going to mess up the poll and use it as an excuse to throw the election to the Congress.
Okay. The last talking point I want to hit on, because it's on, as the kids say today, fleek, misogyny. You see, I hate racism, but I equally hate misogyny. And you see that with the Republican Party.
Again, with the hyper-masculinity. Remember, it was the Grindr Super Bowl, that convention. I'm just going to say the hyper-masculinity usually masks the hatred towards women in order to feel more like a man. There was a very famous brain surgeon who was very intimate with both halves of the brain. His name was Leonard Schlein. And his daughter is Kimberly Brooks, married to Albert Brooks. And anyway, she's a brilliant artist. And he wrote a really famous book on art and physics. It's required reading about the way we perceive things. But he wrote another book that really caught my eye. It's called The Alphabet versus the Goddess. And he was always amazed at how there was a time period, each civilization changed the sex of their deity that they worshipped. They basically changed the sex of God. And not only did they do that, there was an immediate rejection of all things feminine, associating it with, it was a pejorative all of a sudden. And he hypothesized that the minute a culture accrues written form and symbols for language, that it stimulates, what's the male part of the brain? Is that right brain?
I think so, but don't quote me.
Male half, yeah. I'm just so stressed out by this election. I don't remember anything now. But it's so stimulated, hyper-stimulated one side of the brain to the point where it demonized anything feminine. Or the left side of the brain. I could be completely backwards there. And you got to think about it. When they were burning women in Europe, was not during the medieval times. It was during the Age of Reason, where it was the big sophisticated society across Europe using a fork and knife to eat and printing press. And all of a sudden people were learning to read, not just monks. And also the church wanted money because the guys all died in the Crusades and the widows had all the property. So it was easy to call someone out as a witch so you could take their stuff. But a lot of it, everybody went along with it because it was the age of reason.
Right.
You know, it comes and it goes. And they said, oh, the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We are very, if you showed a motion picture to someone from, say, 1910, they'd be freaked out, right? Our brains now have filmatic language, but some people who only look at symbols all day, letters and numbers, he hypothesized that with the advent of the internet and everybody reading print more so than they normally did, it became part of your job. And it wasn't just something 9 to 5. It would come home with you, and you would use it for your phone, and you were BlackBerrying and everything. That it gave birth to, it stimulated certain people to become misogynistic. But the misogyny, it's like the greatest leaders we've had love everybody. And why this huge amount of people are following someone who is promoting rape culture. I mean, Betsy DeVos, she was the first one who like made it easier for rapists to stay on campus. And if you look at the notices, there aren't a lot of drag queens molesting children.
That's right. That's right.
And I say that as somebody who believes in freedom of the religion. If you want to be part of that religion, great. I'm just seeing this weird rape. It bothered me in the 90s. They started calling victims accusers again. So I don't know if it has to do with the advent of the internet and Blackberries and messages. I don't know if it has to do with pollution, but there's about 50 things that contributed to the strangest rise of misogyny. Being a man doesn't mean you need to hate women.
Exactly.
The other thing I read into Project 2025 was it's just a bunch of people that want to be able to discriminate so they can feel superior.
Mm-hmm.
I want my delusions. We have such a narrow experience of reality as it is. And we're going to like demand that everybody experience it the way we experience it. I think these guys just are too, they've had something impressed upon them where they're scared to admit they had their heart broken. I don't know.
It's bad. It's like I said, like the kids say, on fleek, and their leader is the ultimate misogynistic pig amongst many other things.
If you're a member of a religion that needs to subjugate women, you're probably going to end up diddling kids. That's all I got to say. Right. And you look at these guys, and over again, I just keep saying, countdown till this one is caught with underage, countdown till that one is caught with underage. And then we find out about the adopted son when he was 25. And
you're talking about Mike Johnson.
Marrying the conversion specialist. Yeah, Johnson. It's always those guys that are sitting there presenting themselves as pious.
Well, look at Matt Gaetz.
None of them are.
Look at Matt Gaetz. You don't even hear about Nestor anymore.
Jerry Falwell Jr. What about him?
Yep.
They've all got some kind of kink that they're ashamed of, so they go running around telling people how they need to live. Just beware of anybody that uses the word godly behavior or
got there like Hulk Hogan, like Hulk Hogan last night.
Yeah,
unreal.
Oh, Hulk Hogan, yeah. And what about that guy that beats up women?
Dana White. Yep, that owns the UFC.
These are the people they put on stage.
Yeah.
So it was all about a sausage fest.
Yeah. Well, look at Robert Ritchie, aka Kid Rock. Do you know that his son is biracial? Do you know that? His son is
No, I
biracial.
don't. I try
Yeah,
not to think about these people too
right.
much.
But I'm just saying you would never know it because he's over there with a bunch of racists. Hulk Hogan and Terry Bull, his real name, came out. The tape came out with him dropping the N word every other sentence that he used.
Pays the bills.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like how much, these people have sold their souls. I'm not going to judge them. I just don't understand them, and I think they just need to be. They need a big old hug or something. Because
Well, you don't have to judge them. I will. I think they're fucking.
yeah,
Pieces of
you
shit.
do the judging.
Yeah, I'll do
I'm
the judging.
doing the labeling.
There you go. Look, let me close out like this with a couple thoughts and then give you back the microphone as I always do with all my guests. First of all, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it, Heather.
Thank you. Anything for you, Brad.
Thank you. You know that Deb and I love you. We spent time with you out at your house. And I want you to notice, I told you this when we were having dinner, but I'm going to say it again because I mean it. You got a beautiful compound there. You and Skip could close your gates and say, you know what? I'm done. I don't have to speak out. I don't have to listen to these people attack me. I don't have to do any of this shit. You're comfortable. You don't have to do it, but you do it because you care about other people more than just yourself. So you're what my show is all about, moving humanity forward. But at the same time, you fight for democracy. You don't have to do this. Look, I'm getting fucking death threats. They're calling my phone, leaving me stupid messages. I don't care. I'm not stopping. They can't stand that I'm an ally of the LGBTQ. I don't give a fuck. I'm not done. The only way they're going to get me to be silent is they got to shoot me and take me out. And until then, I'm not shutting the hell up. But I appreciate what you do because you don't have to do it.
I got nothing to lose and I eat death threats for breakfast. I've been getting them since I was first on television.
There you go. So,
I not to say that they're nothing.
yeah, no, they're something. Trust me, there's something. But
I'm not saying
but I'm
they're
not
nothing,
scared of
but I'm
them.
saying I really, at this point, it's kind of like, well, what do you want your life to say? And I really just wanted to help people vote. It was just letting everybody get a chance to have their voice heard.
Okay. Anything else on top of that you want to close out with? You want to send a message to the viewers? Or
What I want to close out with is, in this time where we're all uncertain, we don't know what the hell is going to happen. It could be into the abyss. We could sink or swim. I think the most productive use of your time is to volunteer. Because we're not going to win it clicking, owning someone on social media. We're going to win it by being an example, by being jaunty and not shrill, and by going out and doing the work. And that's what the donors are withholding, the ability to hire people to do the work. So let's fill in the meantime, because whatever conclusion occurs, please let it occur within a couple more days. They keep saying, oh, it's going to be after that weekend. And then also I know people say they're staying in it until they don't. Whatever happens, let's not let this lag cost us the election. Volunteer. You have a billion% bigger footprint than you think you do. Every mom has a phone tree list. That stuff's gold. Every person frequents a business or frequents an online company. You can start talking. David Pepper has a wonderful book, Saving Democracy. It's a wonderful book. It's got all sorts of ideas for using your voice and for helping. But there are a million organizations that need people raising funds for them that need to function. And it does reduce your stress. I think the strongest one is door knocking and canvassing, one-on-one conversations with voters. After that, anything goes, but we need people making the phone calls. We need people stuffing the envelopes. We need people printing stuff for free. They need tech people at the polls. We need election judges. We need election lawyers. There is a million ways to give of yourself. And I just really don't want to go boom. I would hate to have the world blow up and turn into a cinder on my watch, let alone lose democracy.
Right.
So there's a lot at stake.
There is. There is. All right, darling, on that note, again, you know where I'm at. You need anything? I'm here.
Take care, honey.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Hey, folks, this is Bad Brad Berkwitt, the host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. And I want to talk to you about sponsorship. If you're interested in being a sponsor on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show that features network guests and entertainers and people from all walks of life in business and other areas, reach out to me at ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. Again, that's ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. I'm finally in a position that I'm ready to take on sponsors. So, hey, reach out to me and let's get you on board. I want to talk to you about my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. If you watch my show, The Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, you know that I love doing 360 conversations with all types of people. Well, I made my bones in boxing over a quarter of a century ago, interviewing world champion boxers, people in the sport, and entertainers that love the sport of boxing, which led to my induction into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in June of 2021. And that's the ring that you see me wear all the time on my show. Well, if you like to pick up my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime, go to authorhouse.com. Again, it's authorhouse.com. And if you would like to get it personally inscribed or inscribed for somebody that you're sending it to as a gift, you can reach out to me and we can arrange for something as well.